Maria Zimida Intendente. Uno bona mapungu jana. Mapungu ya kurunti ya kahuvi.
If you know Mapungubwe, you know that there are these majestic cliffs and baobab trees. It's a fantastic environment, very picturesque, beautiful. But we are right there when the moon was shining on everything, and everything looked so great, very impressive. That was my first impression of Mapungubwe.
Mapungubwe is evidence of the first Southern African kingdom.
Is like most fascinating. I realize that never dulamu Mapungubwe. Too much.
Mapungubwe is one of those settlements that there was inhabited for centuries for some reason. And in total, a sequence of over 300 years.
The people who lived in Mapungubwe, there's no real evidence that suggests who they were. The evidence that exists is just the traces in terms of the pottery, which is linked to the Shona people, the Sotho, and the Venda people.
About 5,000 people who occupied Mapungubwe. The estimated population in Mapungubwe is about 5,000 people, with less than 50 people which is Babu Hoshi or royalty. And then the commoners or Batufela, Nebano, they were like scattered all over around the valley.
During the fallout of Mapungubwe, the people are then moved to Great Zimbabwe. And from then on, there's no what happened to the rest of the other people.
But Babaduchi Mapungubwe from 1220 AD up until 1290 AD. And then from there, Mapungubwe was like abandoned.
So when the people moved out of Mapungubwe, nobody ever settled in this area.
We have got the theory that it was for these people to leave Mapungubwe, it was because of drought, climatic changes and things like that. And even fluctuation of diseases, malweji, so. So those are some of the things. Some people even say that maybe it was caused because of the king's death. These people were like buried. Like their artifacts or even the golden objects. Like the famous and popular golden rhino, and even the glass beads, gold beads, nearly into the range.
There was different stages of occupation in the area, from the San hunter-gatherers, the herders, the Bantu-speaking farmers. The San hunter-gatherers have left traces of the rock art, and also the Khoi herders have also left traces of the rock art, and also the Bantu-speaking farmers have left some traces of the rock art. But mainly, our rock art is mainly concentrates of the San hunter-gatherers and the Khoi herders rock art.
If you look at Mapungubwe and the way of life, the story these objects are telling you. They tell you the story of people who decorated themselves with glass beads that they imported from the Far East, India, some ceramic from China, and other places in Asia.
We trade China, India, from the Far East. We trade the gold, the ivory, the glass beads, and things like that.
These people are highly skilled hunters of elephants, and then they traded the ivory. Also, they mined gold, They melted it there somewhere. We found traces of that on Mapungubwe, and then they made their own objects out of that, which must have been very important for them. When this settlement was discovered and it was realized that it is an important one, that was in 1932, New Year's Day, when rumors of a place like this led some of the local farmers to Mapungubwe. There was an old man with the name of Moena. Some people say it could have been Mokwena, but according to these records, he worked on one of these farms. And he was presented with a clay pot by an old German who was living in the hills. The German's name was Lottering, or Lottery as he was called. He found something on Mapungubwe, which was very difficult to get up to, because this crevice was overgrown with a wild fig tree, so people couldn't get up for a long time. Some of the local people heard about this clay pot that was presented to Moena of this place, and naturally people were interested to go and look there. And there was one of the farmers van Graan who also heard about this, and he wanted to go there, but his son JC O van Graan, Jerry van Graan, he was a student at University of Pretoria, and he was told by Professor Leo Fouchier, who was the head of the department, of the pages of African history, and graves, ancient settlements, villages. So when this one student of his, Jerry van Graan, went back to the Limpopo area, and he became a teacher there. He went with his father, and then some other people went with him, to this place called Mapungubwe, and they were shown the hill by Moena or his son.
Don't miss out on all the hilarity. This week on The Comedy Mixtape, it's your host, Barry Hilton, with special guest Lazola Cole.
My cousins. But what's going to happen when the influences of today get a little bit on in years?
Of these. Oh, they fit comfortably under a thong.
It's going to be lit, son.
The Comedy Mixtape, Sunday, 6:30 on 2.
But wait to laugh at jokes again.
From Dakar to Durban, Cairo to Cape Town, this is the FA Show. Africa's football heartbeat, raw, real, and unapologetic. We go beyond the goals, spotlighting the stars, the stories, the future of the beautiful game. Hosted by the voices who live the game. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. FA Show, African Football Unfiltered. Watch Foot Afrique only on SABC1 and repeats on SABC Sport every Saturday at 1:30.
Step into the wild where every creature has a story, from the fierce to the fascinating. Bush Radar brings you closer to nature than ever before.
Woohoo! Welcome to Bush Radar.
Join Michelle on a journey into conservation, the environment, and the animals we all love.
Oh boy, and look at the beak.
And discover the secrets of the bush, one adventure at a time.
So come on, you're in for a good treat.
Feel the heartbeat of the wild. Bush Radar, Sunday morning 5:30, SABC2.
Mutwabon chama burtabera kubara muhulu nasinga mavina. ke no ta fela o a berekiwa ba epa bana ka marapo a batho le muruka o ba re wa metsi re ba re epa re khumana meruka ne yo totala e le marapa di phofolo a hale ana pa o ka se tsebere ke phofolo ma le dipija ja Sesotho di khurume di ka mangeda jona.
Jerry van Graan, as a history student, was interested and he went up and he got up on top and they scratched around and they found bones, clay pots sticking out of the ground and little bits of gold sticking out of the ground.
Aqui a tua butuco corre que vai ser seguro de ruína, na que não é que mereco. Repile 2 months khoria burarui, mereko a fela. O feja mereko na katheu wa eso ba slo tuba fa se kwa besco. Ka ya hai, ke nga ottoman ro ya itlar.
They found some of this gold and then they divided it amongst themselves. But they did send it a sample. I think the rhinoceros was part of that, to the University of Pretoria.
Utokumana miruka iteju kwa sura wo ke muruka mani ha o so so ku muruka muke wa o e morle ke muruka o ngori pija to kumana di kurumeju mara tsegeri teju mabu fela ka sa tsabare ba yitsiri.
When I was working there from 1971 onwards, there were some of the Hanama people still in the region. I did not know the history, family histories of the workers of that environment. In the third year I worked there, because by then they were just scattered on the farms and some of them would like to do this for a temporary job.
Even no ba uye pa ya la ka peki wa e pa mongwe mo ka khiribane wa ntshaka fosholo mufa o ntshaka fosholo o tshela khiribane a itshulula kwa tshulela pasi ba bua hona ya pasi a thaba kwa yo fita thaba e bya le wa emisa khiribane so wa itekula ya re mabua ya pasi. Kino ta tsho phoku phetsi ka ba ka la spenta ma kwa thaba e na ka thomo makala rena thaba ka phoku fa ja motho na ba ra ke thaba ja ba dimo ha ona mongwa di tswa ke bo ma ka thomo makala le nna ka tswa ile re no ke a itshua thaba ile.
The different stages that the area went through, from it being proclaimed the Dongola reserve during the time of General Jan Smuts, because he was very passionate about the area. That was now in the 1930s. It moved from that stage where it was to be proclaimed and the deproclamation that went on. And then it was then established later on as the Vembe Dongola Reserve in the 1960s.
During the 1980s, when the Ancient Ruins Company in Rhodesia of that time started exploring ancient ruins for gold, because they dug in these old walls at Great Zimbabwe especially, and also others, they found gold objects in the graves. They actually started mining that.
The people of Mapungubwe traded extensively with the Far East. This shows in the glass beads, because there were numerous glass beads, which are exotic glass beads that were discovered on top of the hill and also on the slope of the hill. And to show that they were very sophisticated as well, you can see it in their pottery, because it's this very distinct pottery, the pottery styles and the settlement pattern on top of this hill.
We know that they traded the glass beads via the Arab traders on the east coast, or the Swahili people, from the Indians or the Chinese and other peoples in the East. So there was an international trade going on with things that they knew. It's not easy to do that. You must know what you do. So it's this subsistence farming community that traded. That is what the artifacts tell you a lot about.
Most of these artifacts that we discovered on top of Mapungubwe Hill and on other archaeological sites are in institutions like the University of Pretoria. We have some that are in the National Cultural History Museum. During the 1930s, during the excavations, a lot of human remains were excavated in the different sites in the Mapungubwe cultural landscape.
Abaka humiseja ka relia ya bekhosi aba motsebi ba seno jali miruka haile dilo ja hai dot bele ba re humiseja ma buchowi la bya marapo ko na batile ofita midilo jela jaba ba fitibe ka re ba hande o ba o ikwa ba vuluka le miruka ya hao bele ba jere dilo jela bona ba ile o rekisa ba dile bya iba ya ba dimu miruka metsu a swa o khabisa o re ibe miruka ba dimu.
Actually, you have to respect everything, because everything was important for them. The religion, the technology, everything they did. And that is part of conservation. So the first thing is, when you come across people's culture, the remains, it's part of a unit. Humankind and nature and culture is so integrated. And one thing tells something about the other. So on the one hand, it's important to research it. The other side of it is to respect it.
The process leading to the reburial started last year, whereby a committee, a reburial steering committee, was established. And then from then last year, we've been working towards getting the indigenous groups together and coming to a consensus about the reburial way. At this point in time, the groups that we've been working with are the Lemba. We've worked with the Bangona people. The San, because of the many rock art paintings that we have in the area. We've worked with the Batwanamba royal families, the Machetes and the Lishibis. From November 2007, that's when this whole process started with the cleansing ceremony and the reburial starting also in around the 18th and the 19th of November 2007. What they're doing, and they're still doing now, is to take the human remains back from the institutions that hold them. This is now an agreement that was between the institutions and the indigenous groups. So they did a joint reburial, and it's basically just putting back the people where they belong.
All of us have grandparents that are buried somewhere, and one wouldn't want somebody to take them out and put them on the shelf and put pictures of them somewhere. And the other one, if you respectfully research and then you treat human remains that should be treated, you do scientific research on them. If the descendants do not mind research, if you know who they are, you can get their permission. If you find somebody that's 1,000 years old, the remains, and you can't find the descendants, you still have to treat it with the necessary respect.
In our African culture, people are not supposed to be removed, from their place of rest. And once you fiddle or move these people, then you are messing up with their spirit. So it's now restoring the pride.
This week on Activated, technology as a liberator and equalizer.
My phone that speaks to me and my computer that speaks to me, those are the things that I use.
AAC
completely. I got a second chance to be something meaningful in life.
It's perfect. Well,
Catch us this Sunday, 10:30, only on SABC2, You Belong.
Saturday.
Why do you want to be a lobby boy?
Well, who wouldn't? At the Grand Budapest, sir.
Very good.
A lowly lobby boy is about to embark on the misadventure of a lifetime.
How fast can you pack?
5 minutes.
Do it.
His aristocratic employer hatches a devious plan.
The police are here.
But it lacks precision.
Tell them I'll be right down.
You have an alibi?
Of course.
Don't give up.
I know.
Giving up is not an option.
Well, hello there, chaps.
And the dedicated lobby boy is in the thick of it.
Take your hands off my lobby boy!
The Grand Budapest Hotel, Saturday 6:30 on 2.
Every item tells a story, but when the stories pile up, life can become overwhelming.
Back away from me! What you gonna do?
This season, families face the toughest decisions of their lives.
I really don't want to hear what you have to say.
She probably is afraid that I'm gonna punch the hell out of her. And I will.
Will they keep holding on or finally let go with the help of specialists and loved ones?
I'm Mark Pfeffer. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and specialist in hoarding disorder.
New chapters begin and old wounds start to heal. This isn't about clutter. It's about rebuilding trust, relationships, and hope. Because sometimes the hardest thing to let go of is the past.
You are dramatic.
Oh, I'm dramatic? About cleaning
Excuse me, I'm realistic.
Hoarders, new struggles, new breakthroughs, new beginnings. Monday, 7:30, SABC2.
Within the Mapungubwe cultural landscape, the main sites whereby the human remains were excavated is the Zizo site, which was the first occupation. And there's K2, whereby there were also some 90 graves which were excavated, and most of those graves were those of women. And what they discovered in these graves was that, unlike in the Mapungubwe hill graves, these women were then buried in a lying position. And where they found graves of men, the men were also buried in a lying position, but the difference between these graves was that the men were lying on the right-hand side. The side was considered to be the senior side, while the women were then lying on their left-hand side.
Mapungubwe as a whole was opened officially 2004. September on the 24th, which is our Heritage Day.
We are now in the process of developing our Mapungubwe Interpretation Center, whereby we will be negotiating with some of these institutions that are in possession of the artifacts which are discovered on the archaeological sites, to have them back so they could be exhibited.
The meaning of Mapungubwe as ancestral site is very important these days, because now it's a symbol of African identity and history, and the ancestral spirits that are very important for African people. Of all the spirits, Mapungubwe's ancestors are very important, but not for only one group, but for the people of the country.
This place, ever since it was discovered in 1932, history ya Mapungubwe ile ya fitliwa for lebaka le letelle ene a ke lebeledisisa ke bona hore no ke ne ile ka lebaka the government, the former government, intelligent to fit
The apartheid South Africa, they didn't want to glorify, they didn't see it as useful to glorify our ancient African kingdoms. So I think now with the move in this new democracy and with our new government, they are now realizing and recognizing the importance of these ancient African kingdoms, as we already have some people who are interested in documenting most of the ancient African kingdoms around the southern Africa.
Most of the people, they'll tell you that, no man, now the history that we learned from school, it's not the one. That Jan van Riebeeck, when they came to the Cape in 1652, I mean to say, they came up with everything.
The people of the past, all they stood for, and all we can learn from them, is now preserved. And now comes a next phase, and that is for next generations to learn about their past, because you know where you must come from. And you must appreciate the past. And only, I believe that only when you appreciate the past, you understand it, you will have a better future.
Next on Married in a Flash.
Each week, we surprise an unsuspecting couple with 75,000 rands to plan and execute their wedding.
Yes!
The catch is, they have 3 days to plan the wedding, and on the 4th day, they get married. The key is creativity.
Who's going to walk me down the aisle?
Will they crack under the pressure, or will they take it all in their stride? My name is Nolu Malope, and this is Married in a Flash.
Married in a Flash, Sunday, 7:30 on 2.
From Dakar to Durban, Cairo to Cape Town, this is the FA Show. Africa's football heartbeat, raw, real, and unapologetic. We go beyond the goals, spotlighting the stars, the stories, the future of the beautiful game. Hosted by the voices who live the game. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. FA Show, African Football Unfiltered. Watch Foot Afrique only on SABC1 and repeats on SABC Sport every Saturday at 1:30.
Saturday.
Why do you want to be a lobby boy?
Well, who wouldn't? At the Grand Budapest, sir.
Very good.
A lowly lobby boy is about to embark on the misadventure of a lifetime.
How fast can you pack?
5 minutes.
Do it.
His aristocratic employer hatches a devious plan.
The police are here.
But it lacks precision.
Tell them I'll be right down.
You have an alibi?
Of course.
Don't give up.